Hello and welcome to Racheal Fosu TV. Today our guest is none other than Keri Sawyer. Hi Keri, welcome.
Hi Racheal, thank you.
Thanks for coming and joining us here. We appreciate you being with us and we look forward to a wonderful conversation.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am currently a stay-at-home mom. This is my second marriage, so we have 5 children between us, so it is a full-time job. We have 4 teenagers and almost an 11-year-old, so yeah, it's pretty
Quite
busy all year long. Yes, every day, all year long.
I understand that. I have 2 boys, and so I know. Our Devons are same age,
Yes,
and so I know. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts around caregiving. We talk here about caregiving. We talk about the impact. We talk about how it changes people. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about your experience. Have you firsthand done caregiving?
I have not firsthand been a caregiver,
right? But
yeah, I'm going to use the word unfortunately. Unfortunately, I have experienced caregiving, witnessing it,
right.
With loved ones and with yourself.
Right.
And it's, I don't really think people understand truly what a caregiver is or does until they're put in the position or they're witnessing what that person is doing firsthand. It is truly a situation of unconditional love that you're seeing play out before you.
I would agree.
I've seen it with my brother passed away at 46, and my sister-in-law was an unbelievable caregiver to him, and I still think to this day she probably doesn't even realize that she was in that role.
Wow, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't think so either.
Exactly. My mom to my stepfather, and just recently my mother-in-law to my father-in-law.
Wow, so that's a lot.
Yeah, and then yourself to your
so Keri is a great friend of mine. I actually wrote this book called Hold Me Till My River Jordan. She's actually a character in the book, and she saw firsthand the difficulties that we went through with Dom while we were caregiving for him. And she was a part of that process many times in hospital rooms and rehab centers and everything in between. So from your perspective, even though you haven't done it firsthand, tell us a little bit about what you observed. Let's say what you observed with me or with your sister-in-law before and after. So as it started, you obviously knew this bubbly person that you hung out with, and walk us through how that changed over time.
There's a bunch of things that I realized as the process was playing out. I think one of them is, most importantly, the person is just on autopilot. They don't even realize the sacrifice, the amount of love, time, dedication, and caring that they're putting into being someone's caregiver. They just do.
Right.
It's an automatic. It's not, there's no complaining. There's no, I can't believe I have to do this. It is just out of pure love for that individual.
Right.
That they're sacrificing part of their lives for this person. Like I said, I also feel like half the time the person doesn't even realize that they're in that role.
Right.
They're just completely doing it. And I think the part about caregiving that kind of breaks my heart a little bit is I feel it completely changes the person. They cannot be the same after doing what they do for their loved one. It's you're a different person after it.
Yes.
You feel differently about things. You see things differently.
Right.
I think there are some good parts of that, and I also think there's some not so wonderful parts of that. I think it takes a piece of you.
I would agree. You couldn't have put it any better. It really takes a piece of you that you didn't know could be taken, really.
Yep.
Because for me, when I think about it, I went from being a bubbly, happy-go-lucky person to some very serious stuff overnight.
Yep.
And making some very serious decisions overnight. And you become a sad person.
Absolutely.
You become, a challenged person. You don't know how to take care of yourself anymore because you're caring for somebody else and they're in a very vulnerable state. So
Yep.
When that's, God forbid, that it's over, it just leaves you empty. It leaves you struggling to find your new place. And a lot of things along the way. So yeah, I would agree. What advice would you give, hindsight being 2020, right? What advice would you give me or your sister-in-law? I know your mom cares for your sister and has for a very long
absolutely.
time. What advice would you give her? Like, you've seen her do that for so long.
There were many things that I take away from your experience as a caregiver. And you did so many things so beautifully. But one thing that stands out for me that you did so well is you asked for help.
I did.
You asked for help. I think so many caregivers are on an island all by themselves and are just taking care of this person and doing it all alone, and they don't reach out to their support system or find some sort of support system.
Right.
Maybe if they are alone, find some sort of support group. You asked for help. You actually demanded help.
Yes.
Which is important because you can ask for help, but then people are involved in their own lives and they're doing their own thing. You demanded help.
Right.
And that was so critical, so critical. Not only for Dom,
right,
and for the boys, but for you to survive through this.
Yeah.
And that's the advice that I would really give people.
It's a great one.
Don't do it alone.
Right.
You don't have to. Right. You don't have to. Ask people for help. Tell people for help. Demand the help.
Right. That's great. And for caregivers out there who are struggling, trying to do that, we will talk later about how we go about asking and demanding the help, because that's critical. There is no way we could have made it without the help. Our village. What was our village? From food deliveries to help with the boys sleeping over, to everything in between, taking them to games from time to time, you name it, and if we didn't have that,
it was another full-time job.
Yes, in addition to the job I had to hold down.
Absolutely. Yeah, in addition to being a parent and as well. And you're still a wife. And
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Now, you obviously had a chance to read the book because you're in it. And so tell us a little bit about what you may have found out in the book that you were like, wow, I was really close to the story, but I still didn't know this was a dimension of caregiving that... I witnessed firsthand a lot of the 2+ years. Right.
And I knew in the moment how much you were doing. At least I thought.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right.
I thought I knew how much you were doing. I had really, we were just scratching the surface.
Right.
You go into just not only physically what you had, what you were doing on a daily basis, but I don't think in the moment you cried. We sat, we had some cries and all. Right. But for the most part, you tried to go through it without much emotion. You didn't bring emotion to the job.
Right.
Because then you wouldn't be able to do the job.
I would have fallen apart.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. And that, you got so deep into emotion and your, how you were feeling and your thoughts as you were going through the process, that was really like aha moments for me, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Yeah. And that's a part of what I'm hoping we can do here, is give caregivers the ability to be able to tap into releasing that emotional pain. Because too often we hold it in. Mm-hmm. And as we do that, obviously we're probably going to get sick somewhere along the way from just doing that. But more importantly, we can't move forward or progress if we don't get that all out. So when I wrote the book, I actually wrote 800 pages.
Oh, I believe it.
And it got cut down to 400. And so, it was just such a great release for me. And I'm hoping that they can tap into that.
I hope so, because it was having gone through the experience with you, to some extent, it was just so beautifully written, and how you pieced everything together, the before, the during, the after, and again, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and just little tidbits in there that you put in that I really think caregivers will relate to greatly and tap into, and just feel like they're not alone.
Right.
They're not alone.
They're not. You're not alone. I was not alone, and you don't have to be either. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming. Love you.
Love you.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you like what you saw, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you are a caregiver out there, know that you are not alone. If you want to know more about you, please share your story at RachealFosu.com. Thank you for watching. We want to be there with you.